Hey, this is Dr. David Wade again. I'm coming to you from Hilton Head Beach in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit more today about another aspect of stress on you. And this will be part 2. And I'm going to talk about the thought type stress a little bit more in relationship to how that impacts your body. Now, before we get into the concept of how the thoughts that we have and the day-to-day activities and the stresses that we deal with affect our bodies, I want you to understand that when your body is suffering from the effects of stress, there are certain predictable effects that break down your body that we can kind of count as, say, like the major symptoms that you might find as a result of stress. Now, most people, when you ask them, do you realize that stress can cause health problems? They'll say, yeah, I know that it can. Stress can definitely cause health problems. So what we're wanting to do is to say, okay, what kind of symptoms? So if your body is affected by stress and you have any of these symptoms, then you need to understand that the breakdown effect is already in play and that there are certain factors where your body has already suffered from the accumulation of the pressure from the stress, and that it's become distorted, and then there's also now the breakdown. So the symptoms would be, the number one symptom would be fatigue, feeling tired and run down. When your body's under stress, your body has to deal with that stress in a manner that sometimes can cause you to become fatigued. So if you become fatigued or you feel tired and you don't have the energy that you used to have, then you might be thinking in terms of that stress is affecting your system in a negative way. Another one that goes along with fatigue is irritability. Fatigue and irritability, and then the other one would be sleep pattern disturbances. So, like, for example, if you've got your system stressed and it's breaking down as a result of the pressure over time and the accumulation of that tension that causes the distortion, when your immune response of dealing with the day-to-day stresses becomes broken, then, and the nerves become damaged, then you'll start having problems with sleep disturbances. For example, you have a hard time going to sleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night and you have a hard time getting back to sleep. Or maybe you've slept all night long and you feel like you wake up and then you haven't had a good night's sleep. And when that happens, of course, the fatigue sets in, and then there's also the associated pattern of the irritability. So if you're fatigued and irritable and you're having sleep pattern disturbances, you might really understand that the stresses are beginning to cause a breakdown. And it's not okay to have these things, and I know stress can cause certain common symptoms, but just because the symptoms are there and just because you have them, you need to address the source and the cause of the problem. Another one is headaches. If you have recurring headaches, tension headaches, migraine headaches, cluster type headaches, headaches of any sort that are reoccurring that you're dealing with on an ongoing basis, you need to understand that that's usually an indication that stress is having a breakdown on your body. So you have fatigue, irritability, sleep pattern disturbances, headaches. Another one is sinus and allergy problems. Situations where your body becomes sensitive because of the stress breakdown on your nervous system, and it becomes damaged, and it negatively impacts your body's capacity to adapt to dust and pollen and different things. It's not so much the dust and the pollen that we're concerned about. It's your body's poor adaptation to those things that creates the stress breakdown. And then after all of these things, then you start seeing the sixth leading symptom, which is indigestion. Things like gastric reflux, you may have heartburn, difficulty digesting food, you get gas after you eat certain foods. That's another indication that stress is beginning to have the breakdown on your system. And the last one is when your neck or your back may hurt. You start getting tension and pressure building up over time as a result of this accumulative pressure from the stress, and that distortion that results from that pressure leads to nerve system breakdown and nerve damage. The tension that builds up and accumulates in certain areas can cause any of those major symptoms. So fatigue, irritability, sleep pattern disturbances, sinus allergy problems, headaches, indigestion, or neck or back pain. Those are the 7 major symptoms that we see associated with stress. So if you have any of those and you'd be interested in maybe doing something to get some help with it, then you need to understand that there's some issues that some things you need to do like right away. Something that we can routinely take care of in our office by giving your body an opportunity to bounce back and adapt to stress. So you understand the stresses from part one. Now hopefully you'll understand that there's an accumulation of pressure that leads to the breakdown, and this being part two. And I wanted to kind of give you a heads up. If you have any of these symptoms and you're interested in getting some help with them, maybe even having them go away entirely, then my recommendation is to give our office a call, contact Wade Chiropractic. This is Dr. David Wade wishing you good health for a lifetime.